Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, you can't see it on camera, but I have a bunch of DVDs down. Because, especially here in Tamworth, especially my friends. Now, this is not, how do I put it? This isn't, I'm just trying to make them understand why I like this property. Or this franchise, I guess you can put it. And that is, of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. Actually, I should have got the comics. But, my point is that every iteration of the Turtles reaches a different generation of people. And I like everything Turtles. If it's for kids, if it's for teens, if it's for adults, whatever. I just love Turtles. But next time when I'm having a conversation about movies and stuff, I want people to hop into that conversation. So when I bring up the Turtles, I don't want to feel alone, right? So this is kind of trying to persuade everyone why the Ninja Turtles. Because I don't want to say it's an underrated franchise. It's just not talked about where I'm from, especially my friends. So the first thing, actually, you know what? I'll mention the comics. If you are into more the dark and gritty, like kind of like a Batman type of thing, go get the original Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird comic series, the black and white ones, or even the colored versions. The color versions are just where it has the red bandanas and the green and all that. Especially if you're into like even the IDW comics. The IDW comics are great for that dark and gritty kind of storyline because they've been going through dark and gritty storylines for a long time. And they just introduced, spoiler, a female turtle. We'll get into the whole female turtle thing later. Well, in a minute. But, the first thing I'll mention, now we'll go in order. The first thing that was released for the Turtles was, of course, the 1987 cartoon. I don't have Volume 5, that's the one I need to get. But, if you're a little kid, and you want to watch Turtles, watch this. This is very funny, very slapstick, very comedic. It's very cool for, little kids. I like that show, but I don't love it like some of the other series I have here. But they are good for little kids, those 1987 ones. Because they had to change them to a little kids show, and the original toys came along with them. So the toys came along with the show, and they had to change the red bandanas to the different personalities, the color bandanas, so people can kind of pick their favorite color based on the turtle, and also make them eat pizza. Because in the Mirage comics, they didn't eat pizza. And they didn't say cowabunga. It was a very Batman, Daredevil comic, those Turtles comics. If you're into... Okay, you know what? If you're into live action, and you don't really, how do I put it? If you're into the live action stuff, check these out. Sorry, this is a bootleg of Turtles 3, that's why it's like that. But the original movie is the comic. Yes, it gets elements from the cartoon, but it is a representation of the comic book. So if you're into the comic, the comic books, this movie is great for that. If you're into the cartoon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze is perfect for the generation who loves the cartoon. Sorry, my computer's going out. There we go. And Ninja Turtles 3. Now, I'm going to do a review of this at some point because I think this is a pretty underrated movie. Sorry, the glare. But, this film is a representation of the comic book. With the whole time travel stuff, without doing the whole Savante Romero, time travel stuff. This one's based on the comics. But if you get over the costumes and stuff like that, it's actually a pretty good representation of the comic. Like, yeah, sure, it would have been better to do the whole, get the Jim Henson Company to bring over to do the third movie. But, I won't be surprised if people would still be complaining about it. But, anyway, the next thing was this. Okay, so if you're into things like Secret of the Ooze and the original cartoon, I only have one volume here, sadly. I need to get the entire series. But Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, the first season, because they didn't make a second season after that. They only did a first season. This is a series. Sorry, guys, the light. This is a series that lived for a while from Saban. If you know Saban, they did Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They add all the cartoony sound effects and transitions and that sort of stuff. So, it's really fun if you're into live action. And, yeah, it does have a female turtle. So, if you're watching it, like, you might... People don't like the character. I don't mind the character. But, again, she would only work in the next mutation. But also, I wouldn't mind seeing her in different versions of the Turtles. Anyway, so there's that. And also, if you guys want some, like another series that I'm going to talk about in a minute, some interspecies relationship going on, I think us boys will definitely have a crush on Venus. But yeah, when I was little and I used to watch this DVD, this exact DVD, I used to be like, am I really getting attracted to a turtle right now? This is ridiculous. Next one is, now this one gets some really serious storylines. If you're into the Mirage comics, which are very dark, in the first movie, again, very dark, you guys will like the... I'll talk about these ones in a minute. But I need to try and get all the... You see, my Ninja Turtles DVD collection is not complete. I need to get more of the DVDs. But anyway, the 2003 Ninja Turtles show, the one that Peter Laird helped create, is really good with mixing the elements of the cartoon with them saying cowabunga and eating pizza, while also tying together with the Mirage comics. And they follow the exact beats of the comics. It's not like something like the movies and stuff where it's like, oh, here's a little reference to the comics and then the other stuff is our own thing. No, they do 110% the comic books with cartoon elements mixed in. So there's that. Season 1, DVD 2, DVD 3. I could be wrong. I don't know how these DVDs work. You see, that's the thing. The only one that says Season 2 is this one. And then, of course, you have, I don't think I have any of Season 3. But you have Season 4, Disc 1. And then you have Season 4, disc 4. I need to try and find the rest. But, so sticking on the path of 2003, if you're into time travel, like in the 80s if you're into the 80s cartoon, or if you still want to watch the 2003 cartoon, I only have 2 volumes of this, but the Fast Forward series, I don't really like this series, because of I know, I just got really bored with this series, especially, what's the first one that I have? Especially with this DVD, I haven't seen this DVD, but this one I have seen a bit of, and I just got really bored with it, and I didn't want to because it's Turtles, but if you're into the whole, Ninja Turtles, going to the future type stuff, that's there. So, here is my favourite, part of the 2003 series. This placed right after Fast Forward, and has the best episode of Fast Forward ever, and that is, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Back to the Sewers. Right? So you have disc 1, I don't think you can see that, disc 1, and disc 2. There you go. This whole thing is very future realistic. It's kind of like where they need to go into computers and stuff like that, and they need to try and get these little like they're like microchip things of Spoiler to rebuild Spoiler so he can come back to life, and they go into video games and that sort of stuff to get these little Spoiler particle things. But it's one of the best eras of Ninja Turtles, this one. Oh yeah, this one. So, the last thing, right, if you're into the 2003 show and you have a brother or parents that remember the old show, this is what you'll need to watch. This is the series finale of the 2003 series. It's a great movie. It's at JB Hi-Fi. So if you want to pick that up, check it out. But you might think that it's a normal Turtles fighting Shredder story. Sorry, the sun is on. I'll be back. Is that better? Let me know. I think it's a little dark. But anyway, yeah, 2003 series. It ends with them teaming up with the original Turtles. But they don't get the original voices, and the rhymes. Okay, I didn't mind the rhyme of the 80s Turtles, but the voices, they do a decent job at sounding like the original 80s Turtles. But if they actually got Ken Quark, Townsend Coleman, Barry Gordon, and Rob Paulson to voice the 80s Turtles, that would have been amazing. This is probably the smallest collection of Ninja Turtle DVDs I have. Well, except for the Next Mutation. But, I have kind of the end of Season 4 and kind of the end of Season 3. And that is, of course, the 2012 series. Right? So, if you watch every single series, it will grab elements from the original cartoon, the 2003 cartoon, the original movies. Oh, shoot, I need to get to that. I was meant to go in order, but it's okay, we can go a little bit out of order. But, yeah, from all these different things I talk about, maybe except for the last ones I'll talk about, which are my favourites, they get elements of them. In this series, so everyone can be happy when they do references and they go back to the farmhouse from Turtles 1 in the comic book. It's an amazing show. So, check that out if you haven't. It's a great series. It's the most popular series. Alright, so time to end with the films. Because I don't have Rise of the Ninja Turtles. So, TMNT. This film came out in 2007. This was this felt closer to the first movie, the first original live action one. Um, it did have elements from the comic, but again, they're kind of doing their own thing while also, at the end, they tied together with kind of a trophy mentor war. I know what you would call it, maybe a trophy war at the end. But the last ones that I'm going to talk about are my favourite interpretations of the Turtles, live action wise. And these are the ones that I have no problem watching. I love these ones. I love the original ones and I respect them. But like, I prefer the story. And I am surprised by the puppetry, but they're a little too 90s for me. But these ones I definitely love. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first Michael Bay produced film, and yes, he produced it, he didn't direct it, so it's not a Michael Bay film, alright? And Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. This is my favourite Ninja Turtles film of all time. If I had to rank them, it would definitely have to go Out of the Shadows, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014, or I would tie them, whatever. And then probably Ninja Turtles 3. I haven't seen Team and Tim in a long time, but definitely Ninja Turtles 3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Use, because Vanilla Ice, again, love Vanilla Ice. And the first movie last. But I do love the first movie. I love them all equally, but that's how I would rank them if I needed to rank them. Yes. These ones, they make the Turtles more realistic. I actually didn't mind the designs of the Turtles in this one. They treat this one like a soft reboot. If you don't know what soft reboot is, me and Dad are going to do a podcast called Are All Reboots Bad? And yes, we'll be talking about the original Ninja Turtles movie versus 2014. And then we're going to do the 2014. So like reboot versus its sequel, so Out of the Shadows. So we're going to do all three of those. I'm going to try and figure out a way to compare the Secret of the Use and Turtles 3. Or we can probably do like a bonus round type of thing and compare the recent films to the original live action ones. But yeah, there's that. So while I'm putting these in a poll, I'll explain why this is an underrated series. This is so underrated, and it has a great message to it. It's about brothers fighting monsters and trying to deal with their struggles. So, Raph doesn't like Leo. They portray that very well, actually. But they do it too much. But that's the only gripe that you would really have for the Turtles. Which, in Out of the Shadows, my favourite Ninja Turtle film of all time, they add an element. And that is splitting the Turtles off into different teams, which you normally don't see. You see Donnie teaming up with Leo, which kind of makes sense. And then you see Raph and Mikey, which is weird because Raphael normally hates Mikey. Yeah. And then you want to see the Turtles develop. So if you want to see a good developing series, check out the 2012 series. Because they would start, like, not as really little kids, but they start with kind of goofy and kind of that sort of stuff. And then by the end, they turn out to be the Turtles that we all know and love. But there's that. And the 2007 one, this one, I always took out the Leo and Raph fight scene. What I will say is that's how life with brothers normally are, right? You beat them up and you kick them around and that sort of stuff. But each, like, this whole franchise is about family, much like the Fast and Furious. But I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does the whole family thing way better than the Fast and Furious. Because the only one I like is Hobbs and Shaw. I've seen a little bit of the first one, and I didn't mind the bit I saw the first one. But again, I prefer the action and the whole let's race cars and these are over the top. But for car races, I don't want my car races to be freaking over the top. But yeah, so this whole franchise, on whatever version you like, but if it's the comics, if it's the original show, if it's the original trilogy, and yes, trilogy, don't just skip over to, don't just skip from Ninja Turtles 1 to TMNT. That movie's great, but these movies definitely have, the movies and the shows have a lot more going for them than just silly, goofy, Ninja Turtles that, are fighting reptilians and, this guy that is dressed like a, kitchen utensil, as Raphael would say. Yeah, it's just, that's all. But, yeah, I just love these series. I love the series. I really do. And the whole thing of just let's go and bash Turtles just because one person likes it and we don't. That's unacceptable. If you really watch the Ninja Turtles, not just the films, but the series as a whole, I know people that actually like the 2007 CGI movie. I know people that like the recent films, but whenever they talk to me, I'm like, oh, the original, like, yes, the new ones are better, but the original ones are actually better than what you think. And they're like, oh, no, Jack, they're crappy and goofy and all that. They're crappy and goofy later. When they get to Turtles 2 and Turtles 3, Turtles 2 adds to the mythology of where we come from. So it's like, if you were created on accident, why do you exist? That's kind of like if I was created. Now, I'm not going to the whole thing of how we were created, but because everyone would know. But it's like if I was created and my mum and dad sat me down and was like, look, you were an accident. We weren't meant to have you. I would be like, well, why am I here then? And now I'll be thinking about what they said. So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies are filled with family stuff that everyone deals with all the time. But on top of that, they also have action, adventure, and also great humor in them. But yeah, so I'm just going through the Ninja Turtles films with my dad. Well, up to TMNT, but I am adding Turtles 2 and 3 at the moment. I posted the first one, so if you want to check out the first one, I'm very proud of that video. Go check it out. It has some really kick-ass music in it, and I like how I edit it together. But yeah, so guys, please hit the like button down below if you haven't already. Subscribe. Also hit the little bell icon to get notified for future.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.